Are you tired of throwing away waste from your 3D printing projects? Well, now you can pretend to recycle them with the ExtrudeX, a new scam product available now for pre-order. One way you can tell that it's a scam is this green text right up at the top here that says Kickstarter. So far, we've got 2,637 suckers or victims of credit card fraud, and two people. This was 2635 a minute ago. Two people have fallen for this shit in the time that I have just been screwing around with recording settings. We got a bunch of bullshit down here, probably fluffed up with ChatGPT. Or I don't see any M dashes, but they're probably in there somewhere. We got some prints that he says are printed by recycled film, and they probably aren't. Anyway, let's look at the video.
Imagine turning all your failed 3D prints, purge lines, supports, and scrap film.
Right away, gotta stop. We gotta record evidence for later. Okay, this is his purge lines and waste from commercial filaments that he's used. We got white, we got black, we got orange, and we got gray. It's gonna be an important fact in like 1 second.
Filament into brand new usable.
This is allegedly the filament that he's produced with his machine. It's clearly just a commercial filament, and it's the one that's used to purge those gray lines, okay?
Filament, all right at home. Meet ExtrudeX, a compact, fully 3D printable machine.
Fully 3D printable, except for all the shit that's made of metal. He's 3D printed all the stuff that you probably shouldn't even 3D print. They've got a 3D printed chassis for a machine whose only job is to heat up to the temperature that will melt 3D printable plastic. What could go wrong?
Designed to recycle your 3D printing waste.
Look how shit this looks. We've got the extruder and the filament all in one shot, and it looks like garbage, right? Obviously. It's all different diameters, it's all bent. It's going to come important for later.
It gives your plastic a second life, saves you money, and makes your entire workflow more sustainable.
There's that gray filament. That is not the recycled filament. That is the commercial filament that he's been using.
You finish a print, something goes wrong, and the whole thing lands in the waste box.
This is what the scam is based off of, is this idea that is emotions, right? You feel like you're wasting a bunch of plastic. The reason it feels bad when you're 3D printing and you waste plastic is because you're doing a new thing and you're producing a bunch of waste. If you're doing a normal thing, like driving to the grocery store and buying food, you're already throwing away like kilograms of plastic a week, and nobody thinks about it at all.
And every time you throw them away, it feels like you're wasting.
There's that gray filament.
More than just plastic. You're wasting potential. We built ExtrudeX because we wanted to change that. The idea was straightforward. If we can make the frame and puller.
We're pulling with sandpaper. We got ostensibly molten plastic coming in here, liquid hot plastic. We're going through sandpaper. Because, you know, when I print something, what I like to do is I like to sprinkle a little bit of silicon carbide grit, just some hard as fuck, unmeltable grit. Just throw that into the machine.
Fully 3D printable, keep the hardware costs low, and simplify the workflow. Then every
Look at that fucking dog shit.
maker can recycle their own filament at home. That's exactly what ExtrudeX makes possible. So here's how ExtrudeX works. You start by shredding your waste.
Yeah, because, you know, if you're concerned about environmental microplastics, what you really need to start doing is blending up plastic inside the privacy of your own home.
Then you mix that with virgin pellets. The ratio that works best is 60% virgin pellets and 40% recycled.
Yeah, 60-40 mix. That's the best quality. You really need to do a 60-40 mix. That's why he did like 90-10. But it doesn't matter because it's probably not, the whole thing probably isn't real.
Set the temperature and let it heat up. When it's ready, pour your mix into the hopper. As soon as the filament begins to come out of the nozzle, gently.
Yeah, look at that plastic booger. It just screams quality. Put that into my precision 3D printing machine right now.
Grab it with pliers and guide it toward the filament puller. Turn on the puller and slip the filament between the two rollers. From that moment, the puller takes over and keeps the extrusion smooth and consistent. If you want real-time precision.
Okay, this is hard to see, but you're going to have to trust me that this is 1.4 something, 1.5 something. It's hard to see because it's on an off angle, but it's 1.4 something, 1.5, 1.4. It goes between 5 and 4. And you can see, zoom and enhance, you can see that the quality of this thing is absolute liquid turds. You have a big-ass air bubble. Maybe that's a rock swept up from the ground. Maybe it's a piece of metal. Who knows? Also, take note of the shine and quality of the plastic that is coming out of the thing. I believe this part is actually melted. But
Gauge
then,
to the puller. It shows you the live.
Right here, I believe we have cut to commercial filament being fed from off screen. Just like stupid magic trick. And you can see even with that, the caliper is showing 1.82, which would be way out of spec. Normal filament is 1.75, and it's usually like plus or minus 0.05 for cheap filament. better ones are going to be plus or minus 0.02. And so what's happening here is that even though he's put a commercial filament, even though he's faking this shit, having a plastic caliper slide over the filament isn't accurate enough to measure even commercially produced filament. There's 0% chance of this working.
Filament diameter as it's being extruded, so you always know exactly what you're producing. The built-in cooling fan helps solidify the filament as it exits the barrel.
Okay, so the problem is if you're blowing a fan on plastic on one side, it's going to cool and shrink on one side and then flex to that side. That's what's happening right here, right? It's like it's cooling off and then it's flexing up because the side closest to the fan is cooling and shrinking. So it's all bendy and shit. And then we switch to this shot and it's straight as an arrow, or as straight as it would come off of a regular commercial spool,
making the output stable.
Yeah, and then he switches to this, and this is just remnant from a spool of commercial filament. This is the end of his gray filament.
And that's all there is to it.
Yeah, he did not make this. 0% chance.
A clean, hardware-only process that turns waste into usable filament.
I've noticed a couple things rewatching this. This shot right here where he's first turning on the machine and the filament curves up, this is exactly the same shot as later on when he's showing the cooling fan. But he probably only ran this thing for a few minutes. Like, if we look back at this shot here, if you look right here, there's a little bit of mysterious smoke. That's probably real good for you. And the reason he uses an AI voice, by the way, is so that you can't hear his Indian accent. Because even if you are the most anti-racist rube imaginable, if you hear an Indian accent, there will be a neuron activation in your brain, and you will start to think about scams. In order to sell this fucking thing to idiots, he has to remove the Indian accent. And the whole thing is stupid because PLA is already made from plants. It's polylactic acid, and the lactic acid comes from fermenting starch. And if you don't believe this image, I found another fucking bullshit AI image. Look, right there, converting into lactic... Blah, blah, blah. What we should be doing to recycle plastic is just burning it, right? We should turn it into CO2, and the CO2 goes in the atmosphere, and the plants absorb the CO2 from the atmosphere, and they turn it back into PLA. It's a perfect system. Also, we need to be having kinetic strikes against call centers in India. We can do this to drug boats, but the thing is, people want drugs. Nobody wants to be scammed. If we blew up call centers in India, we would have a tremendous benefit to the economy and everyone would like it.